Hello, Degens. Welcome to Degenerate Takes NFL Week 8 Overreactions. I, of course, am the brofict one, AJ. Joining me, as always, is the man with the numbers, the sportsbook whisperer, college basketball guru, daddy of the diamond, all hail the king of the links, owner of the Green Bay part owner, of the Green Bay Packers, Mr. Noah Engelbretson. Noah, how the hell you doing today, Bob?
I'm doing good. A little tired, but we're pushing through. We're starting our or we've dove into our 27 straight days of football.
Yes, that started last Thursday. Shout out Maction tomorrow and Wednesday night. I think we get Fun Belt Wednesday. My bad. But hey, it's going to be an exciting time. We literally don't have a day without football for the next 27 days, Noah, and I really couldn't be more stoked about this. I got my ass handed to me this weekend. I'm ready to jump back in. I'm not too worried about it, but Noah, I gotta first compliment you about something because you said something week 2 or week 1 of the NFL. I can't quite remember, and it has stuck with me and continues to be true every single week, Noah. And that would be the fact that this year is freaking crazy. I mean, bro. The shit going on in the NFL right now, I don't even know where to start. Honest to God, no. We could start with how MVP Super Bowl caliber quarterbacks are not showing up and letting their teams down and the teams aren't doing well. We could start with the fact that Pete Carroll might be one of the best coaches to ever live, winning with Geno Smith and, becoming first place in the NFC. We could talk about Christian McCaffrey really turning around that 49ers offense and giving it a nice spark even without Deebo Samuel. Noah, there is so much shit to talk about. I don't even know where to start, bro. But you were right. This shit's been insane.
Yeah, I just got the feeling after watching like one, maybe not fully after 1 week, but after 2 weeks, I was like, this is gonna be a weird fucking year.
Yeah, and it continues to be a
Weird,
weird year. It just continues.
weird fucking year. We all knew the NFC East was going to be the best division in football,
Yeah, we all knew that.
right? Right, we all knew that.
We all knew Russell Wilson would struggle in a new system with a rookie head coach and they wouldn't be Super Bowl favorites right out the bat.
Yeah, Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers both leading 3 and 5 squads. The Falcons in first place in the NFC South. That makes a whole lot of sense. Um, God, I don't even know what else. Like, fuck. I mean, you got the Vikings with 1 loss. Granted,
Yeah,
they have not beaten a single team with a winning record. So
true.
keep
Shout
that
out
in
Arizona
mind.
Cardinals keeping that going. You know what? Let's start there, Noah. Let's start with the Cardinals if you don't mind, because let me tell you what the definition of insanity is in my opinion, okay? It's when you beat your head against a wall so many times and you expect a different outcome, okay? Noah, I continue to fall into the same Cardinals narrative and bullshit every single season, and here I am today. Here I am today. You know what I am for Halloween, Noah? I am an angry Cardinals fan because there is not enough of us out there right now. Okay, I am seeing too much like, oh, blah, 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 this is going to work, this is going to work. I'm not seeing anything work. I'm not seeing anything work. And Noah, the league has turned into something that is fast paced and moving. If you are not winning, you are fired. And I think it is truly time that we start talking about Cliff Kingsbury getting his bitch ass on that hot seat. And maybe, I don't know, he'll come up with something more creative than, let's run up the middle. Let's screen. Oh shit, it's 3rd and 15. Kyler, do your thing. D-Hop's fucking somewhere. I mean, Noah, it is so insane and so dumb. Not only that, we had multiple chances and towards the end of the game yesterday to go ahead and take the victory, tie it up, push it to OT. And what do we do with it? We did what the Cardinals do every time. We don't come up clutch. We come up short, and we continue to be the most disappointing team in the NFL to date. So much talent, so much promise is absolutely wasted with the boneheadedness of Cliff Kingsbury. Vance Joseph, our defensive coordinator, I am so sorry. I am so sorry that you have to sit in the same room and take orders from that idiot. Okay, Vance Joseph for head coach. Let's get Kingsbury the fuck out of here and go ahead, just pay out his contract. He's not worth it. He's not worth it, bro.
Yeah, my only disagreement there is I don't think this Cardinals team is as chock full of talent as people talk about. Like, D-Hop's fucking amazing. Kyler is pretty good most of the time. Um, I can't say that about any other member of their offense. I don't think their offensive line's particularly good. I don't think running back wise, they're very strong. It's like, and then on the defensive side of the ball, there's, Budda Baker's a stud.
JJ Watt's been pretty good this season. He hasn't been injured
JJ
yet,
Watt can't
so he's
stay
playing
healthy
above.
for a whole season.
Hey, so far so good. I'll knock on some wood, but so far so good. Let's give some more credit's due.
But I hear a lot of people talk about the talent on this Cardinals team, and I don't really see it outside of like maybe 4 or 5 players total. Yeah. Like, this roster is not actually that talented. And you have a fucking doofus calling plays, so...
I mean, it's literally a clown car. It's just a clown car that keeps getting into an accident every single week. And yet I tune in, like the idiot I am, to go ahead and watch this clown car crash. And honest to God, Noah, I'm going to say it again. I'm going to say it again, and I mean it this time. I mean it this time, all right? I'm not betting on the Cardinals again this season. I'm not doing it. They are too unpredictable, can't win a game, and even when they're about to win a game, they can't freaking do it.
Oh, man, they got 3 divisional games in a row coming up, followed by the Chargers and then the Patriots.
I love my life, Noah. It's great.
Yeah, I don't think the Cardinals are making the playoffs this year.
No, I don't think so either. Or they're going to F around and accidentally win some games like the Bears did a couple years ago with Trubisky, and I'm going to be suffering with a bad draft pick.
I think they're scheduled too difficult. Like, you look at all the 3-4 or 3-5 teams in the NFC, even like the 4-4 teams. Mm-hmm. Like Washington, 4-4, good for them. They're not going to make the playoffs, I don't think. San Francisco could. I'm not going to rule them out. Obviously, not going to rule the Rams out. And you got Tampa Bay, Green Bay, Arizona, New Orleans, Chicago. I don't think the Bears are making the playoffs. At this point, the way the Saints played this season, I don't think they will. But who fucking knows? They could turn around. I don't think the Cardinals are making it, and like half of those teams, I would say, just with how everything's panning out, it's not time to hit the panic button yet. If you're the Cardinals, the way they've played, I think it is time to hit the panic button.
Oh, yeah. Panic button was hit long ago, Noah.
They don't look good. No. They don't look good.
No, they look bad. Our defense is the only thing keeping us in games, and I can't even say our defense looks good. But Noah, let's move it along. I'm done bitching about the Cardinals. Dallas Cowboys. They're good. They're good. They're good at the football, aren't they?
NFC Beast, baby.
And I mean, honestly, I watched a little bit of this game because I couldn't watch the Cardinals game any longer. I'm just impressed. I'm just impressed with the Cowboys. Tony Pollard continues to prove that he is the better running back in that scenario, in any scenario. Honest to God, give me Tony Pollard over Zeke. I understand. The argument that I've heard lately is that he's not the same quarterback and I'm the same running back, and I get it. Like, Zeke is definitely the guy I would want on 3rd and short. But overall, I mean, I think Tony Pollard should be getting 75% of the snaps.
Yeah. I'm not disagreeing with that. So here's where the hard part comes in, right? So like the first 4 weeks of the season or whatever, Tony Pollard looks better. And then the last 2 or 3 weeks, Zeke has looked like he's made big strides. He's played it really well the last 2 or 3 weeks. And then Pollard comes out and just has this monster fucking game.
Huge.
And now if you're Dallas, I think you keep it by committee, but maybe Pollard edges Zeke out for the number, like for reps, but they're pretty neck and neck anyways right now. And I don't think there needs to be this debate about who's the number 1 running back in Dallas. I think you run a running back by committee if you're the Cowboys.
And I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that.
And people get pissed about it because people play fantasy football and they don't like the inconsistency week to week. But if you're Dallas, you just play whoever's the hotter hand week in and week out. You have 2 great running backs. You do that. I don't know why you wouldn't. Like the Cowboys don't fucking care about your fantasy team. They don't care about that. So if you're the Cowboys, you run a running back by committee. You give them split carries. It's going to keep them both healthier in the long run. They're going to be fresher later in the season because if you're giving them each only 10 to 15 carries each a week, they're going to stay fresher. And I said this after week 2 or 3. I said the Dallas Cowboys are actually a good football team.
Yeah, no, and
they're going to be good this year. That defense is dangerous. They didn't look good this week, but their offense showed up bigger than they have all season.
Yeah, and their offense looks better than I think anyone could have imagined it looks, even with Dak Prescott back under center, and then with Cooper Rush there. The defense is another thing. I mean, I know we're calling it the NFC Beast, but that defense is just a monster of a defense. And hey, defense wins championships. I think the Cowboys have got a very good season ahead of them, continuing even though we're about halfway through the bitch. That's insane. I did have one question
Cowboys.
about the Cowboys. What was my question for you about the Cowboys?
I don't know, but they look good. Mike McCarthy is taking himself off of that hot seat.
Yeah, he saved his
somehow, some way.
And he saved his job. He's really saved his job. Shout out Mike McCarthy, keeping it moving. Sean Payton may have to wait another year to be a Dallas Cowboys head coach. With the Cowboys, that was my thing. Noah, I listen to a lot of sports radio. I read a lot of sports media. We're sports analysts, I think you can call us. Again, like, share, subscribe so that we can quit our day jobs. I have not heard a lot about the Cowboys. And I mean, maybe I'm just not watching the right stuff, but I feel like Cowboys fans have been a lot more quiet this year. And maybe it's because the Lakers are playing so bad and Duke got their asses handed to them this year. But I mean,
Duke made the Final Four, so.
Yeah, but they still lost, so.
Okay.
Anyway.
No, I think it's funny. We're seeing it's like it's a complete opposite of normal. You know, the Cowboys fans through this offseason and then after week 1 and Dak getting injured, they gave up all hope. Yeah. And it's the funniest thing ever because they're so cocky about their team for these mediocre seasons. And then the one year they give up all hope by like week 1 or 2. They have a good team.
They have a great team. They got
just wait. They'll once they, overcome the shame of their terrible takes and giving up too early, they're going to be loud. They're going to be obnoxious, and we're all going to hate them again like we usually do.
Yeah. I'm just
it'll
saying,
come.
I'm not even hearing, like, even when Skip Bayless talks, even when Skip talks about the boys, like, he isn't over the top like Skip usually is. Like, he's still like, I got to wait and see. And I'm like, Skip, shut up. You should be screaming from the mountaintop right now.
And I still think this team can win the division.
Yeah, I mean,
they still have a head-to-head game against the Eagles.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to need to win that, but like the Eagles aren't going undefeated throughout the season.
No, I don't
That's
think
not
so.
That's not going to happen. Their offense looks damn good. I still have questions about their defense. This week doesn't mean anything because the Steelers' offense is so trash that you can't really get a grip on anything.
No, absolutely. You can't really measure anything against the Steelers.
Their defense only looks good if you look at a points per game standpoint because they're getting so many takeaways. That's not a sustainable recipe.
No, it's not.
They have a couple games where whoever they're playing takes care of the ball, doesn't turn it over, and their defense is going to give up a lot of yards, and that's going to translate to probably a lot of points as well. I think they have a good defense. I just think their weaknesses on the defensive side of the ball have been covered up by the number of takeaways they've gotten.
Yeah.
But I will say that their offense looks really electric, really dynamic. Like they're capable of putting a lot of points up on anybody.
Oh, absolutely. And I think that the Eagles are one of the best over teams to bet on. I mean, they're, like you said, just electrifying, high flying, and they're ready to go at all times. I mean, God forbid anyone gets hurt and then that offense is going to change. But until that happens, I mean, take the overs. Take the overs because there's going to be a lot of points scored. And to your point, Noah, we don't know a lot about that defense. Still a lot of questions. So the other team, if they have a half-decent offense like the Cardinals apparently do, they can put up 20 points on them. Another team, though, out of it.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I just wanted to say shout out to Howie Roseman, the Eagles GM, for making what I think now through what are we, 8 weeks into the season?
Yeah, 8 weeks.
Through 8 weeks, I think the best trade of the entire offseason. AJ Brown.
Yes.
The second round pick they gave up for AJ Brown is huge. He is having a monster fucking season. And I don't know why people are shocked. He played great for the Titans with Tannehill throwing him the ball.
Yeah.
And he's having a great fucking year now already. he's a beast. He has been a beast. He's been under-respected by the football community. He's a guy I've been talking about. Remember all season last season,
Yeah,
AJ? I was saying he's definitely I kept saying AJ Brown is a top 10 receiver, no doubt about it. And I think I even said a couple times he might be a borderline top 5 receiver in the NFL. Not a lot of people love that take, but you know what? It was true, and it is true, and you're seeing it now. And he's only in his third, fourth year.
Yeah.
Like, the dude is just gonna keep getting better. He's an absolute fucking stud. Yeah. So the Eagles offense is going to keep putting up points.
Keep taking overs. Noah, another NFC Beasts team I want to talk about took a rough L this weekend. Let's talk about the New York Football Giants going to Seattle. I mean, Pete Carroll. I mean, Pete freaking Carroll. Everyone thought this Seahawks team, including myself, was going to be absolute dog shit without Russell Wilson. And I am so, and I was so happy to get Russell out of the division, not dealing with him anymore, not dealing with the 12s anymore. But Pete Carroll comes out and, I mean, he puts together this incredible game plan with Geno Smith under center. And here they are. Here they are. They're still a damn good squad. I mean, even the offense was really only DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett as notable names to the offense, a defense that seemed like it was in shambles. But, hey, the boys can play.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, my whole thing about this game is I believe I said both of these teams are fake, and one of them is going to crack this week.
Yes.
This game wasn't that great. I mean, neither team looked great. The Giants looked bad. The Seahawks looked mediocre. This game looked exactly how I would have expected Giants Seahawks to look at the beginning of the season.
Yes.
Before they both had a record over 500. I would have expected both of them to have maybe a combined 3 wins at this point.
Mm-hmm.
They had a lot more than that, but this game still went how I expected. I still think both of these teams are fake good.
Oh, absolutely.
We'll see how that plays out through the rest of the season, but I don't expect either. I said it when the Giants were at 6-1. I said I still think there's an outside chance the Giants could miss the playoffs. Now, I said I think they probably still nab a wild card at about 10 wins because their schedule is so weak. But I think they could still miss the playoffs. They could hit a big, huge losing streak here. I'm not saying they're going to, but they could. It is in the realm of possibility. And the Giants could still find themselves on the outside looking in when all the dust settles at the end of the season.
And hey, it wouldn't be too unlike the Giants to just go on an absolute down spiral. It would be very in character for the New York Football Giants to go ahead and do that. All right, we gotta go. We gotta talk about this guy. Don't get me wrong. You can't lose a game after you spend, 7 of the 8-hour plane stretching and doing high knees in the aisles as the Broncos go to London and barely beat the Jaguars 21-17. Noah, I hate Russell. And Russell didn't even, he played okay. He went 18 for 32, 52, and a touchdown. But Jesus Christ, every single time this guy talks, I want to put my head through the monitor I am watching it on and just say, please, God, make it stop. I really think they should try doing a new torture technique if they need to, where they just make people listen to Russell Wilson talk about anything. I mean, literally anything the guy can talk about, and he makes you want to put a head through the wall.
It's spicy.
He made the worst commercial ever. The worst commercial ever, and he probably thought it was good.
Did you see Subway pulled that commercial off air?
Yes, they did.
Already?
Absolutely, and because he can't be doing commercials like that and just putting up shit performances. And I mean, he still didn't play particularly good. The Jaguars just happen to be a lot worse than the Broncos are, which is expected out of the Jaguars. I play this game again. I pick this game again. I still take the Jaguars with the points, and I don't even think twice about it. Russell Wilson has got to be the worst, quote-unquote, elite quarterback in the history of the NFL.
I just want to point to a Trevor Lawrence quote after week 3, when they got off to their 2-1 start after blowing out the Colts and then blowing out the Chargers. when he said, people need to start to realize that we're a very good football team. Um, they're 0-5 since he said that quote. Just wanna point that out. And I said even after those two, I've said it every single week because I think I've bet against the Jaguars every single week this season, and in doing so, I think I'm 6-2 and they're 2-6. So I'm okay. I'm going to stay on that train. The Jaguars are not a good football team. They got lucky 2 weeks. A blind squirrel finds a nut every now and then, sometimes twice. They're still not good. The Broncos prove again that they have a very good defense and a very shit offense. Just keep betting Broncos unders. I mean, might as well.
Yeah, you might as well there, Noah. All right, I got a question for you. Which quarterback is having a worst season? Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers?
Brady.
Brady? Why is that? Besides
I mean Brady's putting up a little bit better stats, but I'm just thinking like you give Aaron Rodgers, Mike Evans, and Chris Godwin. He's not 3-5. Like if you swap the receiver groups from the Packers and the Bucks, the Packers are like 6-2, maybe 7-1. If Rodgers had Godwin and Evans to throw to, he'd be putting up way bigger numbers than Brady is. If Brady had this Packers receiving core, he would have quit by now.
Yeah, Tom Brady definitely would not be sticking around with your best receiver being Romeo Doubs.
That's how I'm keeping my hopes up and my optimism. Is every week I go, well, at least we don't look as bad as the Bucks.
Yeah.
And I have said that about 3 or 4 weeks in a row, and it has held true continuously. I don't take a ton of pride in that, but at least it makes me feel a little bit better personally. I go, well, we look better than the Bucks at least.
Yeah, and I mean, you can't really ask for much as long as you're looking better than Tom Brady. That was a hard game to watch, Packers-Bills. I mean, just so many drop balls. It was just god-awful.
And there were some questionable calls. I'm not saying that it changed. Yeah. I'm not saying that it changed the outcome of the game, but there were at least 3 major calls that went in favor of the Bills and not the Packers. And the fact that this game came as close as it was, the biggest one obviously being that offensive pass interference that got called on Tunyon.
Yeah.
Because apparently now it's a penalty for, to throw a defender off of you when he is grabbing onto you. Yeah, that's not allowed.
That, Noah? Come on.
True, you're supposed to just let him hang off of you like a leech.
Yeah, exactly. Give the defense some credit. They don't have a lot.
That obviously, because I'm not going to say the rest of the game would have gone completely the same, because that's, just stupid to make that assumption. But, you could potentially be looking at instead of a 10-point game, you're potentially looking at a 6-point game there at the end. And then instead of trying the 52-yard field goal on a 4th and 10, the Packers are going for it. Not a huge percentage play, but if you're only down 6, you convert that, find a way to get into the end zone. I don't know. And then you got the Diggs fumble that was apparently not a fumble. Packers getting out of bounds with 2 minutes and 1 second left. And then they called a 2-minute warning with 2 minutes and 1 second left. There was just some stuff with this game that rubbed me the wrong way as far as ref calls, but I am a Packers fan, so obviously I'm gonna be a little swayed in my judgment. I'm trying to be logical about it. I do think the Bills got the benefit of the doubt with multiple calls. I'm not gonna blame the refs for anything, because obviously it was still a 10-point game.
Yeah,
Packers needed to execute better to put themselves in a position to win. it's not like this game came down to one call and that, really made the entire difference in the game. So
Yeah, but hey, I
they
do
look.
want to. Sorry, go ahead.
I know that was really long winded. But the Packers' performance in this game gave me hope. They defensively played really well
Yeah.
against a very explosive Bills offense. I mean, you look at, if you told me that the Packers were going to hold Josh Allen to 13 of 25 for 218, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and that the Packers were going to have more yards, win the time of possession battle, and win the turnover battle, I would have told you, oh, the Packers won that game. Nope. Somehow not, but that's because, just because of how the game went and a couple turnovers on downs. And but the Packers were a couple plays away from winning this game, to be honest. Like,
Yeah, it was, I mean, a 10-point game, absolutely. They still covered, shout out. But, it was competitive. And, like you said, they convert a little bit, they execute a little bit better. It's a different ball game. Completely different ball
yeah,
game.
this was, as the Packers' whole season's gone, this was a couple plays away from being a different game.
Yeah, and that seems to be the way
And
it goes.
we've just been on the wrong end of those couple plays every single time, whether that's, blown plays by either the offense or the defense, or some calls that could have gone the other way. It's been a mixture of all that, but I still think the Packers could very easily, if you take 2 or 3 plays and change the way they go from every single game this season, the Packers could be a one-loss team.
Oh, absolutely.
Which is scary because they haven't looked good doing that, but they could be a one-loss team.
They could be, but they're not. So we'll see if they can bounce back and make it a climb in, the Vikings-owned NFC North. Noah, let's go to the West for a second because the Rams and the Niners play. And you know what that means. The 49ers ran it up on them. Shout out. Shanahan just seems to know how to kick the shit out of McVay whenever he wants to, however hard he wants to. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, probably the second most lopsided rivalry in the NFL as of late, after the Packers owning the Bears.
Yes.
But like the Rams have been, the difference is the Bears have been so bad for so many years. The Rams have been good, and the Niners still just own them. That's the big difference here.
And hey, I mean, I will say the game changer in this one was Christian McCaffrey rushing, catching, and passing for a touchdown. I mean, what can't the guy do, right?
Yeah, I still think the Niners aren't going to be that many games over 500 because they still have Jimmy Garoppolo as quarterback.
So let's play a game here real quick, Noah. Let's look into the future. All right, let's say the 49ers somehow make it to the NFC Championship game. All right, let's say they win that game and they go to the Super Bowl. Regardless of the outcome for the Super Bowl, is Trey Lance still the starter next year?
Is he coming back this season, or is he done for the season?
He is done for the season. At least the last report I saw. And I doubt if they're making a playoff run, they would put him in, the conference championship or something.
I feel like the Niners still really want to go with Trey Lance. I feel like Jimmy Garoppolo would have to win a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Or at least make it back to one. Because they were ready to get rid of him after making the NFC Championship game last year.
True.
For a rookie quarterback who had played in 3 games. And now he's played in 5 games. Over 2 years. So I don't know, man. I think they'd be stupid not to just stick with Jimmy Garoppolo, especially because he's a guy who's proven that he can game manage well and can win, and his price tag remains around half of what a Kirk Cousins is, half of and only 40% of an Aaron Rodgers or Russell Wilson or whatever. Now, obviously, Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, some of those other guys you're getting more out of, but the fact that he's half of the price of Kirk Cousins and basically does the same thing, I feel like that's a guy, if you can keep Jimmy Garoppolo around a $20 million price tag every year, that's a steal. You have so much more money, to spend on the rest of your roster. You can add 2 other superstars at their positions for the price difference in quarterback that you're paying. And yeah, Jimmy Garoppolo's not going to be able to pull these massive, come from behind wins or anything like that. But I think they've got a recipe for success there, and it's shown. And I don't know why they're so desperately trying to stray away from it.
Yeah, me either. But hey, the Packers almost did the same thing with Jordan Love. I mean, it just it's just a thing for the future. You got to plan for the future, I guess. With that being said, Noah, do you have anything else on NFL Week 8?
Yeah, I just wanted to say the Vikings are about to do what they do best. They wear purple because they choked. Their next games are at Washington, at Buffalo, home against the Cowboys, home against the Patriots, home against the Jets. They're going to lose 4 out of those games.
Oh yeah,
and the Packers are going to win 2-3 out of their next 4. So Packers are going to be, let's say either 5-6 or 6-5. But the Vikings are losing 4 of their next 5, which is going to be funny because I mark my words, within 5 weeks, the Packers are only going to be 1 game behind the Vikings.
yeah,
And the Packers are going to find themselves in striking distance for this division. You can take them at big plus odds right now to win the division. I'm not saying it's a great idea, but I'm not saying it's a bad idea either.
Hey, fair enough. I might need to look into that.
I did have one more game I want to talk about
Yeah.
for sure, AJ. Maybe 2. Just quick note. I mean, Tampa Bay is really bad.
Very
Baltimore looks like they have some struggles this year. I still think Baltimore wins this division, AFC North. And the AFC North does not look good through and through so far. And then the other thing, Tennessee Titans started 0-2. They've won 5 in a row. Derrick Henry just did Derrick Henry things this weekend.
Yeah, he's good at doing that every once in a while.
The scary thing about him is every year, other than last year, the 1 year that he got injured, every year he gets better as the season goes on. I mean, it's the same thing if you break it down into games. He's better in the second half. He's best in the fourth quarter, even better in overtime. Yeah, the dude's just a monster because he somehow never gets tired. He stays at the same pace all season. Other players are getting banged up and tired. He somehow isn't. But, I mean, holy shit, 32 carries, 219, and 2 touchdowns. And they only won 17-10, but this is the Titans.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And
that offense starts and stops with Derrick Henry. And as long as he's healthy, they got a chance at winning games.
Playing the Chiefs, who don't have a particularly good run defense next week. Chiefs coming in at a 12.5-point early favorite. Both teams 5-2. I would take the Titans right now.
Yeah,
it's going to come down. So I would jump on the Titans right now, big time, to cover 12.5. Not to win, just to cover 12.5. But they might win. They might win. I don't know. They've won 5 straight. Why not 6?
Why not? Why not 6? Why not them? Who knows? Except for Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes being extremely good off a bye. But we'll cover that in NFL Bets later this week. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss that. Hit the link tree down below also to follow us on all the socials. And remember, the Cardinals are a bad football team. Fire Cliff Kingsbury. And yeah, with that being said, I'm the Perfect One, AJ. That's the Money Train, Noah. We'll see you next time on Degenerate Takes.